Hi everyone, welcome back to Guru's Library. So in today's video, we are going to talk about one book which is it's my favorite book because because of its reality, because of its stories that is being narrated and the way it is narrated by one famous writer. She's a Nobel laureate and she's quite famous. So the book which I'm talking about is The Last Girl. So this book, The Last Girl, is is a story of a Yazidi woman, Nadia Murad, and also the community from which she belongs. So the community she belongs to is the Yazidi community. So we will be discussing about the story of this book, what Nadia Murad she is actually telling about her experience and based on her society's experience and how it is it is turned into a nightmare, how it was turned into a nightmare and it became struggling life, a struggling and hopeless life for her, but still she manages to defeat that situation and to become a symbol of hope. So that those things we will discuss in this book and we will talk about it in detail. So this book, The Last Girl, is a story of Nadia Murad and other Yazidi community. So when ISIS attacked in 2014, so at that time in northern Iraq, the people of Yazidi community, so they were living in Kocho, which is in the northern Iraq area. So there they actually faced a lot of problems related to the attack that happened from the ISIS, and because of that, the overall killings, the genocide that happened in that area is still one of the biggest and most dangerous incident of this world. And because of that, this book, The Last Girl, it talks about a lot of issues that ISIS created in that whole area, and the Yazidi community, and especially the Yazidi women, they had to face all of these things. So it was also narrated here in a lot, lots of in very much detail. So this is something which is a short intro of this book and how the situation is created in that particular area of Kocho in northern Iraq. So in this book, normally when I read all of these stories of the going struggles and the challenges Yazidi community they had to face before ISIS attack was there, and then the post ISIS attack, the way Nadia Murad she explained every detail in some of it is like something which I cannot even imagine this thing can happen. The captivity details, the horrors behind it, and also especially the problems that is being faced by the Yazidi women when ISIS came into that particular area. So that was something which was very horrifying, and Nadia Murad explained it very beautifully, like how all of these horrors, all of these things is something which can make a person very depressed. And even in that situation, Nadia she converted all of this struggle, challenges, and the state of horror into an activism in a way the with this struggle, the story that she narrated can be helpful to other women, can be helpful to share her story so that people from different parts of the world can help Yazidi community and especially the women who are under the ISIS captivity. So this horrific incident was something which Nadia turned into an activism, and because of it, this got really praised, and today it is quite famous. Nadia Murad, she is quite famous for promoting the activism and the advocating for justice and helping the world understand the atrocities that Yazidi community they faced. So this was something which this book will tell you. What I really loved about this book is Nadia never hesitated to hide any of these details. So her human spirit of telling the stories in a very raw format, the way she was abducted and the other Yazidi women they were abducted by ISIS and then they were turned into a sex slave, which is like quite horrifying because that situation where ISIS came into force and then they abducted these Yazidi women because they were not Muslims and like converting their faith, and like treating them as a sex slave is something which is very depressing in this book. And the situations like where Nadia has to face a lot of struggles, where she was bitten, she was tortured, and even the situations where she was sexually abused, sexually, I mean, I cannot even actually say that those things because it's really heartbroken. But she was treated really bad in that situation. But still, facing all of these situations, what I really appreciate is Nadia's resilience to actually fight all of these situations in a peaceful manner. And right now, she is in that stage where she is helping other women who are in that ISIS captivity, and bringing them to home, promoting education, so that every Yazidi community they can actually do complete their higher studies and learn something from this world, from the education. So that's what actually motivates me to see Nadia as a symbol of hope, which can be it can be which is actually inspiring to see, like, even after facing all of these challenges, there is a hope, there is a symbol where we can actually trust and see that humanity, the human spirit, is still there, and we shouldn't actually face any kind of that hopelessness that we face in our certain situation. If a woman like Nadia can actually, after dealing all of these things, can bring a positive change in the society, and work for the society where she can promote positive activities in a peaceful manner. So with this, we can actually learn, and that's how we should live in this world. Now, this book, The Last Girl. So what I actually feel is that even in this world where human rights, justice is something we talk about, so how it is so difficult for certain people where they have to face situation where the fundamentalist ideology and the radicalism is something which can destroy their whole community, whole culture. So in this case, when we are saying about the Yazidi community, so this Yazidi religion is something which is very different from the Islamic religion, and they follow a certain culture where they have a certain faiths, uh, their own way of like believing in God, believing in rituals. So all of these things are different. And how when ISIS entered, so they targeted these communities and destroyed everything, their temple, their overall homes, and even the mass killing of Yazidi people, especially their men and their brothers and all, and then turning these girls, Yazidi women, into a sex slave. So that's how it is. It's very depressing to read all of these details. I mean, the graphic descriptions, when you will read all of these things, you will feel like it is happening with you. It is something which you cannot read further, but somehow you have to complete it. You have to read all of these details, because that's how you will understand what Yazidis they went through, and how it is important when we talk about human rights, when we talk about justice. So it is somewhere in this world where it is failing. And I'll talk more about the Yazidi community and who are they, what type of culture they used to follow, what rituals they used to follow in some other videos, maybe in our of the topic discussions. But for this video, I was just focusing on the book review of The Last Girl, and I think this book is something which everyone should read. Not just if you have a particular favoritism to any genre, it's completely fine. But The Last Girl, the way it is written, the way it is described, so every human should read this book and try to understand. It's not about the story that you read in fictions, or maybe some parts of stories which you read in non-fiction. It's about how things which are going on in this present world, it's communicated. And somehow when we try to read some tragic or maybe some very dystopian kind of a book, in the end you will see a lot of struggles, destructions, and hopeless world. So how that particular imaginary world is being described in this book, which is actually a true story. So because of that, I really loved this book, and this also led me to understand what Yazidi used to, it means what they used to follow, what religion they are. So in the last, I just want to thank you if you have watched the whole video, and if you have already read this book, The Last Girl, then I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, and press the bell icon. And we'll meet you in the next video. So yeah, thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.